welcome back to the Brian Clay Chronicles. This has been one of the more interesting programs that we've done. Obviously, talking about Insured Tennessee and kind of talking about a little bit about my not problem, but condition. And as a city councilman, first of all, this is Berlin Boyd, good friend of mine. How you doing, Berlin?
How you doing, Brian?
You look like $1 million, like always.
And look and reality is
It's
two
different
things.
things. Real quick, what's your opinion on the Insured Tennessee thing?
I think it's something that's a great program. I really wish that it would have passed the smell test in the House and the Senate. But, you know, we have another bite at the apple. Hopefully, they will make it a top priority and pass it for the citizens. I mean, it would definitely help the citizens in my district.
Right. Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, extremely help the people in my district. You know, I represent one of the poorest areas in the city of Memphis. I mean, even you take from North Memphis to Fraser, and even go into Douglas. You know, it's pretty deplorable conditions, and I think Insured Tennessee will definitely make a drastic.
One of the reasons why this program is probably one of the more interesting programs that we've had, and we try to make sure that every time you watch the Brian Clay Chronicles is fascinating and interesting. It's something that you learn. But this is one of the few programs that we've had two representatives from the same community. Antonio Touche Parkinson I think it was District 87.
Yeah.
District 87, which is the North Memphis community, which is Douglas, Hyde Park, Hollywood, Fraser, into I think even the Harbortown community.
Yes.
And it's
I think 80. Barbara Cooper takes in
Harbortown.
Yeah.
It splits or something like that.
It splits.
And then our man Berlin Boyd represents the same community. Douglas, Hyde Park, Hollywood, what have you. One of the things that I love every time that we talk about, and congratulations for those that don't know, Berlin was recently reappointed to the city council in the same district not too long ago. And really with your first time around, one of the things I love talking to you about is my family's history in that particular community. My family is from Hyde Park. They all graduated from Douglas High School. Say hello to the Douglas alumni. We must say hello.
Great alumni.
Great alumni.
Douglas,
Barbara Swearingen Ware was influential in getting to school, the high school back, which we all owe her a debt of gratitude for that.
We do.
But one of the things that's just disappointing is how the community is now. I mean, it is almost like going back to Vietnam, whatever Vietnam looked like. I mean, it is rough. The best thing that's going, though, is Douglas High School and Douglas Elementary. They're doing some fantastic work over there. As a city councilman, and as one of the younger city councilmen that has broad vision, because you and I have talked off there, and you've got some just marvelous ideas.
Thank you.
How do you plan on, as a councilman, impacting a community that is so desperately in need?
Well, Brian, it goes back to this. I tell people all the time, you have to realize these problems didn't happen overnight, and I won't be able to fix them overnight. But it's a collective effort, and one thing we have to realize is that the crime issue stems from poverty.
Right.
And until we address the poverty issue, we will not be able to reduce crime. Because
how do you address it? How do you bring business into that community? How do we do that because it's gotten so bad in that particular area?
Well, it's going to be an extreme challenge, and I think that once we can stabilize some things in certain areas of the city of Memphis and have somewhat of a reduction in crime, then we can go out and start establishing a situation where we can attract new businesses to the area. I really applaud Nike for stepping up and opening up their facility in the
and it's impacted that community.
It has. But we need to do that throughout District 7 because, as you know, District 7 comprises of not only North Memphis, not only Douglas, but also Fraser, which is one of my largest areas with over
Fraser's almost like a city.
It's 54,000 residents living in Fraser. So, I have some challenges, but I'm up to the task, and I want to make a difference in that area.
One of the things that's so exciting about Douglas and Fraser is that Douglas it's the school, the high school.
Mm-hmm.
Optional school. I don't know if a lot of people know that.
Right.
It's an optional school. Those kids are graduating and they're going to college.
Right, they are.
They are going to college. In Fraser, you have the Fraser Neighborhood Council that Shep Wilburn has headed up for a while. I think he's moving on, but and it has produced magnificent results. One being Stephanie Love, who started out as a vice president and now is on the school board. And you're starting to see there's a little change in Fraser. There's a little, there's a little momentum. You have an interesting situation because in addition to that, you got part of Harbortown.
Right.
So how do we make all of this work where not only our communities in Douglas, Hyde Park, which is in bad shape, and Hollywood, can be impacted, simultaneously, Harbortown can continue to prosper?
Well, I think that's where you have to devise a real plan. And like I told a young man today from Lemoyne College, he's studying social work.
Great school, man.
Great school.
Great school.
He's studying social work over there at Lemoyne. And so he's over there and he asked the same question, a question similar to yours. And I said that the one thing we have to do is put together a plan, and we have to do a plan of action and attack each individual problem by itself.
Okay.
So,
but that's a big, like you said earlier, that's a big job.
Yeah, it's not the scenario of throw a bunch of stuff on the wall and see what stick. In order to see results, we will have to, if we're going to focus on crime, we need to say, let's attack the whole joblessness rate. But we also have to go back, and I say this all the time, it winds down to 4 E's. You have to embrace, you have to employ, you have to educate, and you have to encourage. And so if you start embracing young people, and you start embracing those downtrodden in the community and let them know they are somebody, they can do things. We have a high literacy rate in my area, but we have to let people know that there are programs out there for them. But you can't be afraid to take that step to start participating in those programs. It's important to realize, Brian, that I'm a results-oriented guy.
Okay.
And I mean, I tell people all the time, if I can't make a difference, then I don't want to be your councilman. And it's my goal. I want to see the communities that I represent vibrant and full of life once again. And so I'm working day in and day out. I'm in the community. I talk to the community.
Yeah, I was looking at that nice picture yesterday of you on Facebook at, was it Douglas High School?
We were actually
community center?
We were in the community center.
Yeah, and you were just rapping too.
Yeah, we're just, I don't want to stand behind a podium. I want to get to talk to the people, and that's part of the District 7 listening tour. We've been to every part of the district. We've taken notes and to find out what are the needs, what do you want to see, what are the most pressing issues, and then we're driving results. We are getting results when people ask something. We deliver on that, and so then I'm going back into those areas and we're doing town hall meetings and we're going out and explaining to them and we're letting them talk to division directors to drive results, because my
people that they can touch.
People that they can touch. And if 311 don't work, then you call me as your representative.
And we're going to figure it out.
We're going to figure it out.
One of the things that our executive producer, Kelly Evans, and the president of the Tri-State Defender is doing, and obviously the Brian Clay Chronicles. On May 14th, we're having a District 7 debate that, in my opinion, is going to be one of the more exciting events and one of the most important events that we can do for District 7. As you eloquently said, District 7 has a multitude of needs. And at a debate, you're going to get a multitude of questions from a multitude of people. I won't be asking. I'm just hosting it. But a multitude of media personalities. One of the things that I really like about you, Berlin, is your down-home kind of rapport with people. When the debate happens, and there's going to be others, that whoever decides to run, and the others that have already announced, what do you think would be the most important question that a media person or a person from the community could ask Berlin Boyd about being city councilman?
Well, I think one of the most important questions to ask me is my track record.
Okay.
Ask me about my track record. Look at how I vote. Look at the results that I'm able to deliver.
Even going back to the first.
Even going back, I mean, think about it. I was a young interim councilman, renamed a street, which was co-sponsored by Edmund Ford Jr.
Right.
After Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which was never done in Memphis history. We have heard all throughout the city of Memphis lately about bike lanes, bike lanes, bike lanes. I, along with my colleague and chairman Myron Lowry, just got that reversed on Riverside Drive. So now Riverside Drive will go back after Memphis and May to a 4-lane intersection again. So I am results oriented. If you go into the community and ask the community leaders and ask community stakeholders and residents, if they call me, do I respond? I have a 24-hour policy. If you email me, if you call me, I will call you back within 24 hours.
One of the things that I also look forward to with this particular debate is other political personalities that will probably be there. Obviously, Kelly and I's favorite state representative Antonio Parkinson will be there speaking. City Councilwoman Wanda Halbert will also be speaking. As a young elected official, one of the major criticisms that I've had of a multitude of people, and Berlin reads my page sometimes, and sometimes I can go a little left, is the age, the age of many of our elected officials. Myron Lowry, who announced today he's not running for city council. Right. He has literally been city council since I was in high school, and I graduated in high school in '87. I graduated from college in '92, and it's 2015. This is no knock on Myron Lowry, but you have many individuals that are still in office that have been there for a while. You're young blood. How do you, and it's the same question I asked Touche Parkinson, how do you balance that particular dance, working with older elected officials versus some of the new age Generation X ideas that we have?
Well, I think you have to go in with a knowledge of understanding how this legislative branch of government works. You're not on an island. You don't make sole decisions. And you have to respect the maturity. You have to respect the fact that they've been there for a long period of time. And I think it's all about building bridges. And I think if you are able to disseminate or dispense your information or whatever your piece of legislation is to them effectively, you will be able to get things done. And what happens is if you come in there and you try to be the big bull on campus, then I guarantee you will not be effective. And in the end result, that not only hurts you, but primarily it hurts your district and the community you represent the most. So in order to be an effective leader, you have to be willing to work with people, and you have to have the knowledge and understanding of how to work with people.
Okay. I'm going to see you May 14th.
Exactly.
You'll be there?
Yeah.
Looking like $1 million?
Yeah.
We have had City Councilman Berlin Boyd. You'll come back to the Brian Clay Chronicles.
Of course, man.
Right after your re-election?
Yeah.
It's just me and you?
Hopefully before then as well.
Before then as well. All right. Berlin Boyd, District 7 City Councilman. And I want to say thank you to you, all of you that watch and support the Brian Clay Chronicles. We've been around, this is almost 2 years now.
Wow.
Can you believe it? We've been around 2 years, and we've had some wonderful guests like Councilman Boyd. To actually see him, I guess you're appointed and be reappointed is
First time in history.
First time in history. Yeah, that's never happened. Yeah, never happened. So again, we will see you next week with some fantastic guests. Me and my executive producer, Ms. Kelly Evans.
Doing a great job.
Who does a fantastic job. And I want to tell you what I say every week. If I do not see you, good morning, good day, good night, and I will see you next week on the Brian Clay Chronicles.